it's Carrie here. So I'm sure we probably all know what it feels like when things don't go to plan. And I find that in business, this happens quite a lot because, you know, we're juggling so much stuff. It takes a lot of different things to make a business work. And so it's kind of inevitable that things are going to go wrong. And sometimes small things go wrong, sometimes big things go wrong. And I'm sure you've been through phases where things keep going wrong. You're just like, everything is going wrong. It's such a disaster. And I'm sure you've also been through phases where things have been going really, really well and everything is going perfectly. So the thing about business really is that it's not a question of will things go wrong. It's more a question of how am I going to handle things when they do go wrong? How am I going to react? How am I going to respond? How am I going to deal with it? And this is something that I have had to think a lot about lately because things have been going wrong for me. So many little things have been going wrong, and then the other day something quite big went wrong, and it left me in this place where I really had to consider how I was reacting to what was going on. So it was actually the other day, and I'd got the latest issue of the magazine. It was all ready to go. It was all there on the website, ready to go. So I sent an email out to my entire network, and then within a couple of hours I went on the website and got this forbidden message, and I was like, oh my gosh, the website has crashed. I couldn't believe it. And then I looked at my emails and I had all these emails pouring through from people saying, the link you sent me doesn't work. There's a forbidden message when I go on your website. Is your website down? And it was like email after email of people saying it's crashed, it's not up, the link doesn't work, the link's broken. And I was like, oh no, I can't believe this has happened. And I felt so annoyed because I just feel like technology just never seems to work when you really want it to work. And I just felt frustrated, and then I started to get angry. I was like angry at my hosting company thinking, why has my website gone offline? I'm paying them every month for them to host it and for them to keep it online. And so in my frustration and annoyance, I got on the phone to them, and I was on the phone to them for hours, and I was getting absolutely nowhere, and I was getting more and more frustrated because this problem was still going on and the website wasn't online, and these emails were still coming through, and people messaging me from literally all over the place, left, right and centre, on every social media thing I actually have, saying the website's down, the link doesn't work. And I was just like, this is so annoying. And so I was getting more and more frustrated, and I felt this rage inside of me, and not this rage, but like I felt stressed, and I felt it all bubbling up inside of me. And by the time it got to the evening, it still wasn't resolved. And in fact, by the time I got into bed, it still wasn't resolved. And I just felt so annoyed about this whole situation. And then as I was lying there in bed, I just thought to myself, you know what, there is nothing I can do about this. I can't control the situation. I can't really do anything to make this situation better. So what am I doing? I have to let it go. And so I just thought to myself to let it go and just stop being stressed out by it. And when I did that, I just felt like myself shift, because I completely changed my perspective on the thing that had gone wrong. And I just thought, you know, there is nothing I can do about this. So then I was lying there thinking, well, tomorrow, what am I going to do instead of doing what I'd planned to do, because I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't go on the website. I couldn't do anything really to do with promoting the magazine. I couldn't go on there and start creating and uploading more content that I'd created. I couldn't do any of that stuff that I'd planned to do. So I had to think, well, what else could I do? And then as it happened, the next day was so productive. It was such a productive day for me. And in actual fact, it made me take a step back and realise that I probably spend, at the moment, far too much time on my website doing content. I have been spending too much time just being in the business, as Michael Gerber would say, doing it. And the website crashing actually made me take a step back and think about the fact that what else should I be doing? And it made me start to think about the fact that I should actually be spending more time working on the business, working on the strategy of the business, than I spend working in the business. And that was kind of a wake-up call. And so from changing my perspective and letting go and stopping focusing on the stress of what had gone wrong, of the problem, and shifting my perspective onto thinking, how else could I see the situation? How else can I handle it? What else can I be doing? That helped me to actually turn a rubbish situation into a situation where I learned quite a lot, and I was very productive, and I did some other great stuff. And I just feel like it was such a great lesson that I learned. You know, when things go wrong from time to time, it's so easy to get caught up in the emotion of it and feel completely stressed and frustrated and anxious and angry perhaps about things going wrong. And I think that's a natural reaction to it. But ultimately, where does that get us? where does it get you when you respond like that? It doesn't get you anywhere. I know the other day, me feeling angry and annoyed wasn't getting me anywhere. It was making the situation worse and worse. And so by taking a step back and thinking, actually, what else could I do? And choosing to focus on all the things that were still going right instead of the one thing that was going wrong, helped me to actually carry on being productive and learn as I was going and actually improve things. So when we pull away from the situation, when we pull away from what's going wrong and change our perspective, it can really change everything. And there's a quote that I absolutely love by Charles Swindoll, and he said, "We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations." And I just think what a great way to look at the setbacks and the challenges and the things that are going wrong, to look at them as opportunities in disguise, because I think that's what they truly are. Because I know that I have learned far more from the things that went wrong than from the things that went right. So next time when things go wrong for you, try and take a step back and ask yourself, how else could I choose to see this? How am I going to handle this? How am I going to respond? How am I going to react? And choose to see things in a different way. Choose to focus on the things that are still going right, not the things going wrong. Choose to do things that are still going to be productive rather than draining and wasting all of your energy on feeling negative emotions that are going to pull you down and they're not going to help you. And I know that at first it's actually really hard to do this when you're in the heat of the moment and something's just gone wrong and it's so annoying and it's frustrating and it's really caught you off guard. It can be hard to actually take a step back and be like, actually, how am I going to handle this? But I think eventually, after a few hours maybe, you can start to think to yourself, actually, how am I going to respond? Is this stress or anxiety or frustration helping me? No. Okay, what can I do? Or look at what is going right. Take a step back and be thankful for the stuff that's going right. And think about, actually, this is going right, and I'm going to focus on that rather than on the one thing going wrong. And just try and change your perspective, shift your focus to something more positive, and it can make such a big difference. So later on in the evening, when my website was finally back online, I walked into my bedroom and out of the corner of my eye I saw my pinboard, and in the middle of the pinboard I saw this word just jump out of me, and it was this word in big green cap lock letters, the word trust. And I just thought to myself, yeah, actually, you really do have to keep the faith and trust that even when things are going wrong, that they are actually going right. And I just think that's such a great mindset to have, to really kind of keep the faith and to change your perspective when things go wrong, and to look at what else you could be focusing on rather than the thing going wrong. And that has really helped me. It really helped me recently, and I'm sure that it will continue to help me moving forward, and I hope that it helps you just as much. So if you have any advice or comments or situations that have happened to you where things have gone wrong and what's helped you to handle it, then please head over to the blog and leave a comment, and I will see you next time.